All right, Dwight, this is the 3 games. The first one we're going to talk about is Green Bay going to Minnesota. That's in the 4 o'clock time slot.
Big game.
That was probably flexed down to the 4 o'clock time slot for Fox. Minnesota, a home game.
Yeah.
That's
big marketing.
That's going to be pretty good. It's going to be a big matchup. Aaron Rodgers, they look a little lost on offense, mainly on the road throughout the whole season, and then the last game at home. Losing to Detroit, the first loss to Detroit since 1991.
Talk about disappointment. Hugely disappointing.
Yeah, and honestly, obviously they can move the ball a lot better than that. And their defense played well overall. I mean,
what is that? Their 3rd loss in a row?
Yeah, 3rd loss in a row. But this one was the worst. The other 2 were against good teams, and they actually put up a good amount of points against Carolina's defense towards the end. But they didn't put up any points against Denver, and they barely put any points up against Detroit.
Yeah, that doesn't make any sense to me.
So, moving on to Minnesota, who has a good defense, traveled on the road to Oakland, played well. They got a tough, gritty win. Adrian Peterson had a huge run there under 2 minutes to make that score look a little wider than it was. But that was a really close game.
Absolutely. It was a good game.
It was a great game. Teddy Bridgewater played really well, even under the circumstances. Peterson came out, did his thing. As I said there at the end, he had that huge run. I mean, their defense held down. The Minnesota defense held down a really good Oakland offense.
They absolutely did.
So
it's a question of do you believe in that, or do you believe in Aaron Rodgers not going 0-4 the past 4 weeks?
The one thing I do want to say that the 2 things I want to say that Green Bay did good to give them some light, some hope, and I know that I know some big Packers fans, and a lot of them are like giving up on this right now. They're frustrated. They're like, but I can see why you're jumping ship because like 2 weeks ago, 3 weeks ago, I understand the relax, but it's not a relax. It's kind of a panic because 3 weeks ago going into the Denver game, you were undefeated and you were smooth sailing. You were picking back. Now it's panic, but you just lost to Detroit at home. I understand. You're tied with Minnesota, and if you beat Minnesota, you take the upper hand. You have the head-to-head. But the 2 things I do want to say. Aaron Rodgers started finding Richard Rodgers. That's a big thing because that started moving at the end, and that was kind of a new element that he didn't have only a little bit before. And their defense played really well overall. Again, it was Matt Stafford in Detroit, but...
So, are you saying that Aaron Rodgers finally might have a weapon because Nelson went out, as I said, might come back to haunt him?
Yeah, and I've been giving you credit almost weekly for that, so... Don't sip your tea.
I know you have, but I know nobody else has.
I was giving you credit.
You have, nobody else has.
You're right, okay, but...
No, but I hear you.
I understand what you're saying, but on the other end of that, Minnesota's defense has been playing really well. Yeah. Bridgewater's been getting it done, and if Detroit can score enough to beat Green Bay, I gotta go with Minnesota.
You going Minnesota?
I'm picking Minnesota.
I mean, honestly, it was a bit of a trap game.
Oh, no, absolutely, I agree.
It absolutely was a trap game for Green Bay to lose to Detroit. I mean, what else could you call it?
But you got to get the gap back together now.
Absolutely. So at this point, I'm going Minnesota as well. And that makes no sense. I like, in theory, it's like, oh my God, can Minnesota honestly get another win and lead 2 games in a division? It's almost unthinkable, but as you said, you took it based on it.
Do I think that they should be panicking? No, but
Green Bay?
Yeah.
No, I agree with you. I don't think they should be panicking at all. I think they are still a threat to anybody in the league, period. But going against Minnesota right now, I feel like they have a lot more momentum. Obviously, they had this big win. They went to Oakland. The defense looks good. Teddy Bridgewater looks good. Adrian Peterson's doing his thing. Overall, they just seem to be more together than Green Bay looks. Green Bay looks flustered out there. They look like they don't have any idea where they want to go to. Aaron Rodgers doesn't look like he knows where to go to on offense. Defense, spotty, whatever. I mean, call it whatever it is. I'm more so looking at their offense and seeing Aaron Rodgers out there looking for help, and he just doesn't know where to turn. And against a divisional rival in Minnesota with that defense, I don't think he's going to find it.
Thank you for watching. This is JD Sports. I'm Jarrett Hood. That's Dwight Garfield. You can find our Twitter @_JD Sports. Our personal Twitters will be there.
You can find our Facebook page and the information down below. Make sure you hit the like button. Make sure you subscribe for fresh weekly content. Stay tuned because the best is yet to come.